And I know it sounds gloom and doom, but so many people are still on autopilot and they still think they're programmed to think it's about feeling good. The thing is, it's almost like we need to push through there because it's almost like the resistance, and it's like
Right.
there's 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 no option. I mean, if we don't keep pushing through, there literally is no option. It's just roll over and let the scumbags have their way.
I don't think we can underestimate the power of each individual. I mean, certainly I've been hearing you say this, Jen, for years, and it's taken me years to realize, you know, the power that, one voice can have with a true intention, with a pure intention. It's like the butterfly effect. When a butterfly flaps his wings halfway across the world, we all feel it. Well, when that butterfly is a dragon, and has a clear intention coming through the heart that it wants to make a difference and poke a hole through the illusion that exists covering most people, then it can really have an effect. And I truly have experienced this. And when I now, my attitude is when I have a Facebook screen and a scroll and someone posts something that is just obnoxious, not true, I find that place in the heart that's not anger or reaction. And I just poke a hole in whatever it is they're saying. And I also find that there is a true effect out into the ethers when I share your posts. And I find that it actually, if I have anything here that's blocking me, just by sharing, it pushes out and pushes out the dross. So each of us, I think, is way more powerful than we thought. And the whole lie is that we're not powerful. And if you're on this call, you probably have been trying to break through that your entire life, because it's as if they tell the ones that have a big heart, they tell them that lie. So it's like, oh, wait, there's a bright light. We're going to cover that bright light as much as we can. We're going to do whatever we can to cover that light. And so I don't know how else to say it, but yeah.
That was pretty
So
fucking good.
Thank
yeah,
you.
so the
By the way,
challenge
that's
is
going to be just so you know, that's going to be a 5 minute clip. So by the way, if any of you guys are ever, worried about, being put in front of 8 billion people on the planet, don't make a speech like that because I'm gonna cut it and put it out. All right? You've been warned. No, just kidding. That was great. That was
so
great, Trace.
so the way to realize your dragon is when you get afraid of something, instead of recoiling from that fear, recognize it as a gauge. There's something reacting on my atoms that wants me to recoil. So challenge that, whatever the fear is, do taps on it or just do the opposite. And if you're afraid to speak your mind, if you're afraid to share what I do it anyways. What's going to happen to you? What, as it is now, there's more negative consequences for everyone, if you don't share truth.
That's right. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. So standing up for truth is easier than stuffing it down at this point,
At
people.
this point. And you fake it until you do it. I mean, I faked it for years. I shared your stuff and I was like, oh my gosh, what's this? Share, share. And now it's like, share, share.
You know what's really offensive to me is when people send me a private message and say, Jen, you're amazing. You've helped me so much. I have so many shifts inside. And it's like, don't tell me. I don't need smoke blown up my ass. Share with other people who are suffering, who need the encouragement. Because I can feel the pain and the desperation out there. And I can internalize it like my own, and I can feel it at any 1 minute. And trust me, it's a lot. And oh, by the way, if I'm aware enough to know that I'm feeling the pain of others, you're feeling it too. Just because you don't know where it comes from and you label it as depression doesn't mean you're not feeling the pain of others. That just means that you haven't made the conscious, connected the conscious dots like I have. So if you want to get rid of your own depression, your own anxiety, challenge your fears and stand up for others.
It always reminds me of the advocates for climate change and the voices out there, and they're out there telling truth, and the great lament of those that have been doing it for decades, because it has been now decades, is that as much as there are people that are now passionately interested on the topic, there's a lot that I just still haven't got on board. So I think it's just a matter of keep plugging away. I don't know what the magic formula is to just instantaneously do that.
But here's the thing. You have this sweet little, fearless little girl, 14 at the time, Greta, what's her name, Thunberg?
Mhm.
And she's out there. And so she's showing you don't need any background, you don't need anything, you just need a pure intention and the passion to do it. What do people do? They do one of two things. They either demonize her because they don't want to give up their lifestyle, or they expect her to do it on her own. Well, Greta's doing it. I don't have to do anything because Greta's doing it. And that's like too much for one little human. It's like she's there to inspire people, but she's not there to do it on her own. And just like that SFT, that energetic cleanse and everything, I'm happy to inspire everyone and I'm happy to do what I can. But it's not on my shoulders to do it alone. If you don't want to do it for yourself or for others, then it's like.
And I just want to add, there's the Facebook group that you guys formed called Advocates for Truth. It's a powerful forum to write two sentences, a paragraph about somebody who's speaking truth. And I have found that it really helps me speak truth by advocating for someone else, or, it's a good forum.
When there's someone out there who's living their purpose, either in social media, politics, media, whatever, and they're sharing truth, it's nice to just give them a pat on the back and just support them in a little way, like or share what they do. You know how amazing it would be if people would just like or share what we do on YouTube? Marvin puts hours and hours and hours into editing those and polishing them up and making it look like everything else professional out there. And it's like, it's really discouraging when people don't even bother. And I can imagine it's discouraging for people in other, in other forums that aren't getting the support they deserve or need. And the more we can just support others, the more it can perpetuate a movement towards higher consciousness.
It does help me to think of we're doing battle in a way still, because what is the resistance that we're pushing through? I mean, not battle in a traditional sense, but it requires a lot of energy. I'm shaking. My whole body's shaking right now.
Yeah, the battle thing is just a proactiveness.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, cutthroat, because we are operating in love and in higher consciousness and in a calm. But it really is frustrating when there's so many people fighting. It's almost like it's being a lifeguard. And in higher consciousness, we're trying to pull everyone up and just say, just float. You don't, if someone's struggling to swim, it's because they're fighting the water. they don't really need to learn to swim. They just need to learn to relax, and the water will keep them afloat. So it's the same thing with higher consciousness. You really don't need to know what you're doing. You just need to relax and raise consciousness by just doing what you love and stop fighting everyone and stop perpetuating negativity.